Want me to intro? You can't make that up. You can't make that up. You can't make that up. You can't make that one up.
No.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
My thought process, I'm like, I'm gonna get him with this one.
That's what I thought too.
That's one. Okay, wait. Final.
Oh,
Hey, yo,
I'll
fuck
take it.
Okay.
Whatever, I'll take it. I'm done. Keep it in.
Oh,
That's what she said.
Uh.
Anyways, guys, welcome to another episode of the Booth Podcast, episode 75. Oh, 3/4.
Mm-hmm.
We are 3/4 in.
Oh, fuck. Shit. Sorry, guy. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music,
I apologize
if
if the volume was crazy.
yeah,
high on
just
that
because
one.
I say tune into the first 2 minutes on
video?
YouTube because you need to see the proof of what happened. Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. That
Hey,
was
man.
amazing.
To me, that's a dub.
That's a
To
dub.
me, that's a dub. I don't care if there's
That's
no
the first ever had that happen. Oh, but welcome, guys, to another episode. I hope you guys are having a great day so far, or a great night. I don't know. I wanted to.
This is the podcast where we talk about life, love, and the deep things you can't talk about with anyone else. My name is Ken, along with my co-host.
Dom.
And yeah, back into the podcast.
Yep. I had saved this relationship perspectives. There's 5 relationship perspectives you have probably never heard of, and I thought we'd talk about them and our opinions on them. Let's go on this one. We'll go with this one first. The 80-20 rule. Your partner will usually have 80% of everything you've been looking for. People fall out of love because they're looking for the missing 20% from their partner. They then proceed to look for someone with that 20% that their previous partner didn't have, only for them to realize later on they left the 80% in exchange for a 20% person. Be careful with your compromise. What are your thoughts on that?
It's kind of scary.
Yeah?
Scary. Some people are willing to like give up like that 80% for a small 20, only to come to realize like, yeah, it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
'Cause, I don't know about you guys, but every time I have like those TikToks where it's like a Reddit story about some like failed marriage or whatever,
Yeah.
I always hear it out. I'm like, yo, this person fucked up.
Yeah.
Like there's this one about some woman, she like some wife, she married whatever, like apparently it's the greatest dude whatever. She cheated on him,
Ooh.
right? And then like eventually, like her life just went to shit because everyone knew this guy was like top tier,
Yeah.
right? And then it was like you gave up like maybe like 95% of your relationship for a 5% temporary gain.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yo, like that shit is scary.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree.
Because I feel like it's not even just like how it is with how you view your like person. I feel like that's how we view just life in general. Like we have basically everything that we've ever needed, but we always strive for this one small aspect that we want. And like we're so focused on what we don't have that we lack appreciation for the things that we do.
Yeah.
And that ends up killing your overall perspective.
Yeah.
Of like just gratitude, you know? But it's tough because like I guess like movies have romanticized of finding the perfect person that fits all the right boxes.
Yeah, like a huge overcorrection.
Yeah.
All right.
I know that I've had that feeling before in relationships where I'm just like, oh, but like this. But I want this. And then there are times where I have to talk to myself like, okay, but there's also this huge chunk that I've always wanted and I have it right in front of me.
Yeah.
Like you can't have everything. Like you should just be appreciative of what there is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, what are your thoughts? Do you think that's bullshit though? Do you think you can have 100% of everything that you want in a person?
No, and I think that's kind of bad
Yeah.
because there's a difference with wants and needs, right?
Mm.
So this person that you want, I want her to have this checklist, right? What if that's not really what you need?
Mm.
This person could be like bringing you down, but she's doing all the things I want, but for some reason I don't feel this way,
Yeah.
right? But a person who's like probably like supporting you and everything, right? They're like, this is someone you need because they're doing all the things that actually is pushing you to become a better person or pushing you to where you need to be, right? So I think it's bad to have a person that you want and you can't go 100% with them, right? Because what if they're not what you want?
Yeah.
Right? Because everyone's gonna have different different needs at the end of the day,
Yeah.
and if you can't cater to that, you're just another dude.
Yeah.
What about you?
I feel like you gotta learn to love everything. Like, what is it that saying? Like, you can't have like rainbow without a little bit of rain.
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is. Like, it's love to me has to at some point get to a point where it's a little unconditional. Like, I love you through and through, flaws and all. That's my perspective, because like if you can't do that, then maybe you just love a person for how they make you feel and not who they actually are.
Yeah.
Because nobody's perfect. So if you can learn to, like, if you do love somebody, you'll love them even if they're on their bad days, or even if they have this quality that you might not fully like are in love with, but you just love them. You know what I mean? And for you to expect to find a perfect person is ridiculous, because you're not a perfect person.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, look yourself in the mirror before you kind of like feel like you deserve whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like at least this is at least my view on like relationships, right? I feel like the person doesn't have to be perfect, but the person should compliment you, right? So like, like there's a reason why people say your opposites attract, right? I get it, right? It's because you learn to appreciate things that you've never had a deep appreciation for.
Yeah.
Right? Like I think before the girl I was seeing, whatever, we were kind of like complimenting each other in a sense, right? Because she liked things that I probably like never would have liked, but I learned to like it. I'm like, oh, I guess I like doing these things.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just like, it's like a puzzle piece, it fits until it doesn't. Right? And then, a person should compliment you in your lifestyle and who you are, because then it just works hand in hand.
Yeah.
Right? Because if they were perfect, then it's just, I don't know. I kind of like not knowing what I don't like. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? It's like I'm figuring things out with this person.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
On to the next one. The 100% rule. You can't offer who you are if you don't know who you are. If you only love yourself at 20%, that means somebody can come along and love you at 30%. And it would seem a lot when it's literally less than half. Whereas if you love yourself at 100%, a person that falls in love with you has to go above and beyond the call of duty to make you feel special. I agree with that one. I think that one's a big one. Like, I've always said the term, like, if you don't love yourself, how can you love others? Same thing, like, if you don't love yourself, how can you know when someone, like, loves you fully, like, the way that you deserve?
Yeah.
Like it said, like, you could love yourself at 20, and then someone will come along, maybe just love you a little bit more and make you feel that extra special. And you're like, oh, like, this is great. Like, and then it gives you that instant gratification, like, oh, I guess I'm worth loving.
Yeah.
But like, you should already know that before you really, to me, head into a full-blown relationship. Because then you're always going to search for that feeling of instant gratification within your partner.
Yeah.
And they can't always give that to you. You should be able to, like, oh, how do I like do this to like learn to love myself or give myself that gratification? Because I feel like it's unfair to constantly search for that feeling within someone else when it's like that's not their job. Being a girlfriend, being a boyfriend, being a wife, being a husband, that's not a part of the job qualification. It's to always gratify you with your self-worth. I think reassurance is a good thing. Yeah. But I don't think like you should depend your self-worth on another person. I think that should be something you kind of look within yourself. What do you think?
No, that seems pretty true. Because I don't think if you're becoming reliant on someone to love you and you can't do that for yourself, then that's where you've kind of like, one, you've lost. Yeah. And you're gonna lose them too. Yeah. Because if you can't love yourself, then what makes you think someone's capable of loving you at the same
Wow.
time?
When you said when you lose them, buddy, when you lose them.
That's when you start to lose them. It's like the beginning.
But like also like when you lose someone that gives you that gratification, when you lose the person that you think gives you self-worth, that's like almost like losing your own
Dignity.
worth. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Wow.
you gotta
That's
you gotta
tough.
you gotta love yourself. This kid, I've learned that like kind of like the hard way, right? Where kind of relying on someone to like, oh, love me for or like me for like the shit that I'm giving, right? I'm like, I didn't like some of the things I did, right? But it felt nice. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm worth it,
Yeah.
right? But I'm like, why do I need someone to remind me that I'm worth it? I should be able to remind myself that like every day.
Yeah.
You know, I do the things that I want to do, right? I'm doing this because I love myself, right? It kind of creates like a barrier in a sense. So when someone comes along and they don't show these things, like, oh, you're not hurt because you can still love yourself. But when someone does come along and they show you that, like, another part of you is able to be loved, it's like, you know, it feels a little better, right? Like, increases your shield a little more, your barrier in a sense, if that makes, like, any sense. I'm so sorry. Like, my wording is pretty bad on that. But, yeah, in order for you to, like, get in relationship, you do have to love yourself. I'm not saying you have to love yourself, like, 100%, right? Because obviously there's some parts you're still going to work on about loving yourself, right? Maybe you have some couple insecurities, and that's completely fine. Just because you have that doesn't mean you're not lovable. Right? At the end of the day, everyone's gonna have certain shit that they're dealing with. Yeah. Right. But you're still capable of being loved. So this is like a reminder to you guys: if you're feeling like you're not lovable or anything, just like breathe. You know, you are. You know, because if you weren't, you're practically like dead.
Everyone's deserving of love to some degree. Like even and the thing is, if you can't find it within someone else, you gotta find that within yourself. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like, you are stuck with your own voices, your own head, like your own demons. Yeah. So if you can't make your own life a better place to live in, it's not worth it sometimes, right? Like, not one person can fix everything. Yeah. It's just not true.
And there's only so much that other person can do for you.
Yeah, and if you search for that, then you become so self-reliant on that. It's not good at all. Yeah. Willingness to grow over character. We have a tendency to want the other person to be a finished product while we give ourselves the grace to evolve. Don't look at their mistakes, rather look at their willingness to grow. We have different paces of growth, and you can't force them to be on the same maturity level as you. Not everyone had the same upbringing. Yeah, I agree with that one too, because I feel like when I was in my other relationship and there were times that we would have fights, and it was like, oh, like, you don't want to hear this. You don't want to hear this. Like, I would say that, and then she would tell me, like, no, I'm trying to change. Like, I'm trying to be better for us. And at the time, I was just not hearing that, and I didn't listen. Like, I just felt like this is bullshit, or like this is just because I said something. This wasn't like a choice that you made independently. Like, this is because I'm upset or I'm in a bad mood. Now you decide you want to be a good partner. When, like, why is that a bad thing? Right? Like, maybe they did want to change for you, and that's a good thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's a good thing for the relationship, because for a relationship to work, both sides have to work on it. Right? And so if you're kind of like shunning out someone's growth, someone's development within that relationship, how is that relationship going to thrive at the end of the day, right? And I feel like I, at the time, was a reason for that plummeting. It's because I denied someone of their growth and didn't see it. Yeah. And like, when I had this saying in my head when it's like, the more that you think of a person in a certain way, and if they're not that way yet, they eventually will, because of your own like manifestations of them. Yeah. I got that from like Smallville, because like it's really cool, because Superman and Lex Luthor are usually like, in the movies, they're always like bad guy, good guy, always against each other. But in this one, they're friends. And then they slowly, like, he starts believing in him less, and then he becomes the villain because his friend doesn't trust him. So in relation to relationships, the more that you don't trust your partner, the more that you think they're going to do the wrong thing, the more you might be manifesting that. And that's not a good thing, because it's not like, oh, see, I was proven right. nah, you wish that upon yourself, you know.
That's called self-sabotage.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Self-sabotage for sure.
I think that's one of self-sabotaging in a relationship is one of the biggest killers. Right? Because some people don't even know they were doing it like subconsciously.
Yeah.
Because I was doing that back then, right? It's like, oh, like I was already mentally preparing, emotionally preparing for all of it in case it did happen. You know, I put myself through that,
Yeah.
right? And it was just like, oh shit, that's low-key my fault,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, it's fucked. It's
Do you have
so
any
fucked.
examples of self-sabotage that you realize within yourself that you do?
Like with
With a relationship, yeah.
Let's see. Because I don't overthink, but it's like I'll think of all the different scenarios,
Yeah.
right? So I guess that's one form,
Yeah.
right? And like I can choose to believe in either one,
Yeah.
and it's like I stop myself from trying to believe that,
Yeah.
but because a part of me is believing in it strongly, it happens.
Yeah.
Poof! What happened?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It.
yeah. That's my big
Yeah.
example.
Mine would be like pushing away help.
That too.
I do that so much, and then like, but now I catch myself like, oh, like if I'm feeling a certain way, and someone, let's say, like wants to be there for me, now I just let them.
Mm-hmm.
I let them do whatever they feel is gonna be helpful to me, because if I push away help, like even if let's say I don't want it, and I just push it away, that pushes them away from the idea of helping.
Mm.
Like, oh, like every time they're down, just not help. You know what I mean? Like, so then
Yeah.
now, like that is self-sabotage. So what if deep down I do want it, but my other thought is like, no, push it away.
Mm-hmm.
So I like catch myself. I'm like, okay, like if they want to be there, okay, I'm just gonna let them do that,
Mm.
because maybe that's what I actually want.
Yeah.
And then if I don't want it, then I'll figure it out. But if I push it away before I even get it, then what's the point? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of like let help come to me now. Like if
Mm.
they decide to do it, and see how I feel after. If I
Yeah.
didn't want it, then I will
Mm.
not ask for it again,
Fair.
or like let it happen again. But that's one form of self-sabotage that I do all the time.
Yeah, no, I do that too. The whole like, yeah, I don't really ask for help.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends know that, right? And it's just like, because a part of me is like, I do it because I'm like, I can deal with it.
Yeah.
I can, don't worry about me, right? It's more like I self-sabotage to the point where it's like, don't worry about me. It's not a priority to you. Just like leave me alone. Right? I don't say that, but it's like I'll keep it within myself, right? Just because it's like, it's just I don't like the attention of it. It's like, oh, I'm at my lowest. Can you not look? Right? So that's one thing I do.
Yeah.
Right? My friends know that, sadly. But it's like something I've worked on recently, especially last month. Yeah.
I'm trying to work on that, because the thing is, like, I always believe, like, sure, can I work on myself to a point where I don't need anybody? Maybe. But most groups, like most teams work the best when they're together.
Yeah.
Like if you have a solid team around you, a solid like just like group of like people that you can lean on and depend on, that makes it that much better. That way you're not alone when you're dealing with shit, and like you can get that extra help that you need, because if you decide to push everybody away, bro, no one wants to be around you. That's like the hard truth, right? And it's so great when you see dynasties. Like dynasties are only there because they learned how to work together, how to trust each other. And even if it's not a basketball team, even if it's not like a, I don't know, content creator team, whatever it is, just having those solid like friends that you can depend on when you're going through life struggles is the like best thing that you can ask for, because then you could actually feel like you can accomplish everything. I remember a quote from like Joey Diaz. I don't know if you know who Joey Diaz is, but he's like, all you need is like 3 motherfuckers and you could run the world. And like it's so true.
Yeah.
Like the trust and the loyalty and the like just the bond that me and my brother have alone, I'm like, oh, we could do anything.
Yeah.
And if you can, like, having that is such a powerful force in and of itself, because bro, like I know like I can like turn my back and he's fine. Or he can take care of me. Or like if he turns my back, like turns his back, I got him too. And that's like so super powerful.
Oh, sorry. I wanted to add this part. You know when you're talking about, because it blew my mind. I forgot to say it. Remember you were talking about like how do you like not cherish or like lose that person and stuff. I don't know. This clip hit me. It reminded me of it. Remember that one scene in Sweet Life of Zack and Cody? It was like Mr. Mosby's like, "How do you lose a woman?"
You
And then
to
Cody's
cherish
like,
her.
"You forgot to cherish her."
Yeah.
And it just hit me like, yeah, that's how you lose someone. That's true. But vice versa for guys, right?
To love means to accept the risk of pain. You really have to love like you've never been hurt. Lack of vulnerability kills relationships and fear hinders it from growing. To become spring means accepting the risk of winter. To become presence means accepting the risk of absence. I think love is high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The the thing that it said absence and presence. As amazing as it is for someone to come into your life, reverse that. How would it feel losing them? It's that much worse.
Yeah.
Like that's really how it goes. How easy it is for someone to come into your life is also how easy it is for them to go.
Yeah.
And it's super, super true.
It's true, but it's also like scary.
Yeah.
Right? I remember I was listening to the song, I think it's by Leve, if I remember. But basically the lyric went like I forgot how it went, but she said, "I love you," or the person said, "I love you" to her, and then she said, like in the song, it's like, "Now it feels like I have someone to lose," right? Because it's obviously like once you love someone, it's like, yo, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Right. You're at risk of like losing that person like that easily.
Yeah.
Right. And it's high risk, high reward. Right. You only think of the reward because you don't ever want to think about the risk. Right. And it's just it's a great feeling. It's great. I love it. Right. But once you think about the losing that person, it's like this shit is scary. You know. Because obviously, like, you don't want to lose the person, right? You want to love them with your whole heart and really make it out through and through. But then once you do lose that person, it's like, oh, this shit maybe ain't for me. You know, you start diving into those thoughts. But love is an amazing thing.
It is.
As much as it is scary, at least where I am right now, I'm still not like opposed to it as I was before.
Yeah.
You know, back in like high school, I used to think like, oh, yo, I want to be in love, blah, 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 but I don't want to lose the person. Then it got to a point where it's like, yo, maybe it's just not for me. You know, I can't love a person like that anymore or like that and shit in high school. And it was a lot because obviously you want to be loved, right? But you also don't want to lose at the same time.
Yeah, there's this saying in fighting. They say the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. So like when you're winning, you're on the highest mountain. You're on the highest of feelings. But when you lose them, you could feel on the lowest, like it's the end of the world, like all this and that. And that's so true. My God. Like I remember like at peak falling in love, at peak, the dates, the rush, you know, but then when the breakup happens, it is so slow. It is so painful. A minute feels like forever. I think this is a perfect segue to me. We have a film that we're working on called What Once Was Forever. And to me, it's going to exemplify the highest of highs and the lowest of lows of like how quick relationships could feel because you remember them in glimpses of moments and time. And then when you remember the breakup, you remember the long drive you took or the long walk you took or the long night that you stayed up listening to sad music. Like it just stings for a while, right? And relationships can feel so fast.
Yeah.
Like that is the ultimate truth. And I've had long relationships, but I can remember them in minutes. But like the breakup, I remember all of it. Like all of it. I remember all of it. And that's the truest thing ever.
Yeah.
And I think that goes the same thing. Like I said in fighting, the highest of highs, lowest of lows. I can imagine a fighter winning, and it's like they party, forget everything the night of, and then boom, if they lose, they're sitting with that. You just have that feeling like, oh, everyone and their grandma knows, like I just lost.
Yeah.
Like when you're broken up with, the truest interpretation of a breakup that I've ever seen is 500 Days of Summer. When it's the guy just like
So sad.
Did you?
So sad.
I don't know if you ever seen it, but his daily routine was just like wake up and he's like just like down, his face is down, and he's walking, he's just all sweats.
Yep.
And like dropping plates. Like he was just like nothing fazed him. Like you get so numb, and it just sucks. But another part of that little rule is like to love like you've never been hurt.
Mm.
I just think of Ted Mosby
Yeah.
because I feel like I love like that guy.
Mm.
Like that guy just he walks into another like relationship like it's a new story
Mm.
and like rose-colored glasses the whole way through.
Yeah.
And like sometimes to me it is difficult because when you're walking into a relationship, like a new one, you're remembering like that the old one's gone. Like everything's gone.
Mm.
Like whatever was is what it is. It's past tense. It's gone. That moment's not there anymore. And so when you're like entering this new one, you're like, okay, I gotta like really live through this and like experience it to its fullest. Because if you ever like think of the past, that's all you're ever gonna stay in.
Mm.
And I admire that guy. I know he's fictional. I know he's fictional.
No, apparently it's very close to like the actual actor, Josh Radner.
That's what I think. He thinks no. He thinks he's the complete opposite of that.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
But if you ever heard him like talk, he sounds so much like Ted. It's hilarious. Which I mean, I guess he would be,
Yeah.
considering he's the actor. But like, yeah, I just feel like I feel like you're like that too.
I am.
You remember what we said
am.
before? You're like, yo, you know me, bro. You know us, bro. We're lover boys.
Yep. Yeah. No, it takes a strong heart to enter any stage to like
My
really do it without like nothing's happened.
Dude, yeah.
You know, because obviously like if you're heading into a new relationship, you don't want to carry any like baggage that you had from like your past relationship. Obviously, some people are gonna have it, which is completely fair,
Yeah.
right?
Scars are scars, bro.
Yeah, literally. It's like of course you're gonna be more wary, right? But don't let that stop you from pursuing like that person or like falling in love.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a great feeling but it's scary at the same time, right?
100%.
I'm not trying to tell you guys to like don't do it. I'm telling you to do it, right? It's okay to feel scared because I went through that, right? And it's like, oh yeah, what if like? Because I remember some girl I was talking to, right? I think we were talking about like some of our fears of like getting into a relationship. I think I told her, I'm like, oh, like I didn't want to tell her, but I'm like, okay, if we're gonna be vulnerable, I gotta like say it.
Yeah.
I told her like, I don't want you becoming another talking stage. I don't want you to like be another lesson, right? And then she told me hers, right? And I'm just like, okay, I can go fresh into this, right? And it was great. It was great for as long as it lasted. But no, you have to be willing to put your heart out there again, no matter how many times you've been stabbed, hurt, or in pain, or been sad. You have to do it. Right? It's just a lot of growth, and in the end, it's rewarding. You know, because every time you go through another breakup, you build yourself back up again.
Yeah.
As tiring as it is, it gets better.
Yeah.
You may not be able to see it right now because it's so dull and it's so gloomy.
Always.
But trust me, bro, it gets so much better once you're able to like really believe that it gets better.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of like my process with it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Enough said. That was really good. This is the 72-hour rule. I read this with Summer, one of our best friend, and I agreed with her, or I disagreed with this rule, but we'll go through it. Whenever something made you upset, you have to wait for 72 hours before showing your emotions. You have to think it through logically and absorb your emotions before trying to arrive at a conclusion. I agree with some of the points that were made, but I think 72 hours is kind of long. I think 72 hours, like 3 days, bro. You know how much you can do in 3 days? You know how much you can do in 30 minutes? Like I'm sitting there, me being an overthinker, you know,
Yeah.
I just can't. Like I need that problem solved. Like that, because the way I view problems sometimes is like it's a fire.
Yeah.
You got to put that out as quick as possible, or shit is going down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how I view it. Of course, are there like some things that we should cool down before we like really talk about it?
Like it takes like some things take time. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Just not 72 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
How do you? What is your go-to when it comes to like arguments and fights?
For me, at least the shit that I went through, I kind of like I like the rule where it's like, all right, we're not going to bed mad at each other or anything like that. Like we'll talk it out before we sleep, right? Because I want to sleep good, bro.
That's my rule too.
Yeah,
that is my rule too.
But at max, a day.
Okay.
But I think a day max is like fine.
Yeah.
For me to like, cool off, right? Or even just a couple hours. Like, yo, let me not be in your presence right now because I gotta think about this whole thing, right? Because I'm a dude who just wants to fix it like that, right? But obviously at any time like think and make sure like, okay, it's just gonna be the right choice. You know, you gotta like expand your options to see what goes best. So yeah, I don't think 3 days is good at all because that's like, I don't know. Okay, I get it if you can't like if you're very impulsive.
Yeah.
You know, but if you're not, it's like, yo, you can just fix it right now. Right. As long as the other person's on the same level. Yeah. Right? But yeah, I think a day max is what you need.
What are your thoughts on breaks?
Oh. I don't know. Okay. Wait. Breaks as in like just
a break.
I don't know. I think breaks are kind of stupid. Because if you can't like work it out right then and there, then just guess you just don't see eye to eye anymore. Just like you gotta just break up.
Right.
And I understand if you need. There's a difference in break and space.
Yeah.
Space is like, all right, you know, I
cool down.
Yeah, it's cool down. Okay, yo, I'm gonna think because if we do it right now and talk about it, it's gonna be irrational.
Yeah.
Right. So let me
all driven by emotions.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. But if you need a break, it's like, bro, like that means you're not serious. Right. It's like. You're kind of like distracting yourself a little bit, right? It's like, okay, I don't have a partner right now, so you know, let's fuck or whatever.
Whoa,
no, let's just do whatever.
Sure,
right? Keep my mind off it. You're not thinking about it.
I don't like breaks. I used to, until I saw this clip on TikTok that was just like, oh, like breaks, like when you go on a break, you're essentially like going about it like apart.
Yeah.
And then you go in, you fix it, and then you come back together. And like that's great and all. So, you know, like at times, but then like if you can't fix the problem within each other, like with one another, you're learning how to be apart.
Exactly.
Instead of being together.
Yeah.
And I think like before, of course, I was like, you know, like if you need your time to think it out, whatever, that's cool. But a break is crazy. I think a break is crazy. Whatever works for you guys works for you guys. Whatever relationship rules that you have, I'm not trying to push anything onto you guys. Obviously, if you agree with me, take it as is. If you disagree and have a better way of doing it, I'm sure like you'll find a partner that agrees with you, and you guys have a great relationship. On my end, though, me and my future partner, we're not gonna have, or me and my partner, we don't know. We're not gonna have breaks.
Yeah,
we're gonna have spaces of cool down, and we're gonna talk things out because that's how it's gonna be. Like even if we're both upset or I'm upset or you're upset, I'm still gonna pick you up from work and we're gonna go home and have dinner. Like we're gonna figure it out, but we're not gonna be like you go off and I go off, and you know what I mean. Like it just doesn't sit right with me because like. Why?
That and like when you're on a break, you're at risk of losing each other already.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, it's just fucked. It's like it's already in the air.
A break to me,
it's the beginning of the end.
A break to me could be like practicing breakup. And then have you ever heard this term dating is practicing divorce?
Yeah.
Like if as much as possible I could build something with someone and we grow together and it works out perfectly and the timing is there, I'm taking that route. That's just me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I can't do the other way around. And I think I've done enough in the dating world that I can firmly say that. Like I can be in a place where like this is what I want.
Yeah.
And the other thing is what I don't want. You know? So yeah, don't agree with the 72-hour rule. Don't agree with spaces or breaks. Or sorry, breaks. I agree with spaces, but not breaks. I've had many breaks and that just never worked out. Never worked out with any of those partners.
I mean, you guys saw Ross and Rachel in Friends.
Ooh, that's a touchy topic.
Yeah.
I've heard the whole argument with like, oh, like, but like they're on a break. They're on a break. I was like, yeah, breaks aren't breakups though.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that. I also think breaks aren't breakups. If I'm on a break, do I still have a job?
Fair enough. Mm-hmm.
Might not be getting paid for the job, but I'm still on the job.
Mm-hmm.
Still gotta come back.
That's true. That's true.
That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. So that's my opinion on that. What other? Do you have any other rules that you would have in your relationships, or different perspectives that you would apply to your own relationships in the future?
Rules? Sounds like a prenup.
Because I have this one where it's like a date night at least once a week.
Mm.
Like that is the bare minimum.
Mm.
Like yeah, we have to go on a date.
Yeah.
I saw this one where it's like like this is like 3 questions to ask your partner to have a long and lasting relationship.
Mm.
And it was like 3 questions that they kind of reflect on at the end of every month.
Oh yes, okay. That I remember. I saw that.
I love that.
Yeah,
It's just like, there was one question that was like, are we together because we love being together, or are we just convenience for one another?
Mm.
First of all, that's a tough question.
That is.
That's a tough question. I would dread because like, imagine like hearing, yeah, you're just for convenience.
Yeah.
That would suck, dude.
I've had a couple friends date out of convenience, but they didn't know it was convenience at the time, right? Until like
That's
later on, right? It's like my friend told me it's like I think it was like a 4-year relationship, right? Because they did it in high school and then post secondary.
Yeah.
So basically, like
4 years.
they were dating, and then later on, after the breakup, blah blah blah. He told me like, yeah, a lot of me like loved her just because she was like just like near me, and she kind of admitted the same thing, I believe, and it was like it kind of made sense. I'm like, I mean, yeah, you guys are really close to each other, like distance wise, so of course you're gonna see each other often. That's why it's convenient. So they both kind of fell out of love out of convenience, but obviously they did like each other for like the things, whatever. Yeah. But it sucks when it is that. Yeah. Or if you love someone out of or like someone out of loneliness or desperation, you're just like, I'm just using you to like fill up this void. That's one of the worst things you can do for a person. Yeah. Right? Because then it just sets them up for failure.
Yeah. Another question that I saw that I really liked too was, is there anything that I did to upset you? If so, what can I do to make it better or like be better? I like that question a lot. It's almost just like what do they do at like jobs where it's like you kind of like look at your performance, like you know what I mean? Like, let me see how my performance was the past month. Because there could be a way that you say things, that at least that I've caught for myself. There are ways that I've talked and like it upset a partner, and it's like I learned this through my parents, like, and it's not healthy. Yeah, because like if I was a kid and I didn't like hearing it, imagine how a partner would be hearing it from me. So I think that's a very important reflective question, because then now you could kind of fix your own phrasing and your own, like, you know how like sometimes you're texting and like auto phrasing, fix your auto phrasing, so that you'd speak to your partner in a way that like, not that like you're walking on eggshells, but in a way that you are talking to them in a form that they still feel loved by you. Right? There's a difference between being like critical and being rational and being an asshole. Like there's a huge difference in how you speak with your partner, like giving advice and helping them out versus like being a parent. Yeah. Because sometimes you tend to do that because like that's the way your parents loved you, and you forget like, oh, like this is my partner. Yeah. Not my kid or not my, you know what I mean? Just
I know. I've had a lot of friends struggle with the whole like tone part. Yeah. Right? It's like they get into so many fights and arguments where it's like, it sounds like the girl would be like, it sounds like you don't care, like you're being so mean, blah, blah, blah. But my friend, he's just monotone. Right? So it's of course it's going to sound like doesn't care, but he does. Yeah. He does, right? So I've had to help my friends like, yo, fix that shit. Yeah. You gotta if you want to try and avoid, like, not avoid, if you want to, like, not get the fight as loud, does that make sense? Or
Yeah.
get worse, it's usually just like the tone of your voice and how you deliver it. Like, one trick I learned is just talking like very gentle, right? Be like, hey, so you did this and I feel this, right? Instead of like, yo, you did this, you know, I don't like the way you did this, right? It's just a tone. Like, the tone, a lot of dudes kind of suck at it.
Yeah.
And I've witnessed it firsthand. It's kind of funny. I'm sorry. And it's just like, yo, it's relax, calm, you know. And then
I like the idea
speak.
of like, this is the I feel pillow. Whoever has the pillow gets to talk. Have you seen those? Like, okay, and then they have the pillow. And I just feel that when this happens, this is how I feel. You know, and because sometimes like, this is just a main rule for me is like, whatever you are going through, and like your partner thinks like, oh, like I did that, I'm so sorry, like it's my fault. No, it's not your fault. It really is my problem, and I just kind of just want you to comfort me. I don't need you to like apologize for that.
Yeah.
It's not your fault. Like, it's just my feelings are whack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so sometimes like, and vice versa, I've had like, you know, girls tell me like, I don't need your advice right now. I just need you to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like for me, the parent that showed me the most love was my dad, and the way he showed love was like
Tough love.
lecturing, advice, tough love. Yeah. So when I hear a girl going through their problems, like, yo, you just do this, like just do that, just do this, or like you got this, like, and I'm like coaching them, pep talk, and it's like, I just wanted you to listen. Like, oh, sorry. Yeah. So I've learned from Ken, was like, do you want me to listen or do you want advice? Like, that's the number one thing. I've had an ex where she used to complain to me about her mom and how her mom would talk to her. And then there were times where I would be like acting a little childish, or like there's just things that I wasn't sure of in my life. And she would talk to me exactly the same way that she told me her mom talked to her. And it was like, correct me if I'm wrong, projecting a little bit. Just like, or not, is that the word? Am I using that? No.
Or like, what's the context? So yeah,
she's speaking to me
the way her mom speaks to her.
Her mom speaks to her.
Oh no, yeah, that's projecting.
Yeah. So like, I was like, dude, why?
Thanks, your mom.
Like, don't talk to me like that. I'm not. Don't do that. So I was just like, why? That's another thing. Don't do that in your relationships. Just don't parent your partner. It's not cool. It's weird. like I get it though, because that's sometimes what everyone's like base form of love that they've learned, and so they kind of just like give it out unsolicited sometimes. And you're like, this is just how I show love, and it's like, cool. It's not the love that I'm asking for though. Like sometimes, like, I just want you to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a piece of advice. You know, just listen. You know, listen to listen. Don't listen to respond. That's a very important thing.
We talked about that.
You know,
yeah.
Because there've been times where it's like, you know, your friend's talking. It's like, why don't you just do this? You know, do that.
It's like, yo, bro, I'm just venting, bro.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, my fault.
Right.
But you know, you should do this because it's like it just makes them feel like no one's there.
And sometimes it makes them feel like they're dumb.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow, you're making me feel really stupid right now. Because why don't I just do this? Why don't I just do that? And that wasn't even your intention. You weren't trying to tell them, dude, you're stupid. Do this. You're just trying to be helpful. But you know,
there's
you have the right intention.
It's
but
not
the wrong time, the wrong execution. It just wasn't.
Yeah.
This wasn't needed.
Yeah.
But yeah. If there's any other rules or perspectives that you guys have on how you would treat a relationship or how you treat relationships, by all means, drop them down below. Message us. We'll bring it up in a podcast or a future podcast, or even just on an Instagram story. Who knows? As always, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate us on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. Any last words?
If you guys want to audition for Dom's short film, it's coming soon. To any experience?
We're looking for some. We're gonna look for some background actors, so that's gonna be interesting. If you're looking to be no acting experience needed for some background acting. So,
Unpaid, paid.
unpaid. But there
Unpaid.
will be catering. There will be
Yeah.
food.
Message Dom.
Message us at the booth, and then we're gonna post like a casting call
Yeah,
very
yeah, yeah.
soon with the email that you guys should be sending towards us.
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll let you guys know more information as the dates come closer. But yeah, that's
Sorry. Another upcoming message in a sense. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for us. Little self improvement project just coming through.
That sounds
Yeah.
familiar.
Very familiar.
Anyways, that's been Dom.
Ken.
Hope you guys have a good day. Peace out.
Didn't work.